Hello, everyone. I hope you all are doing well. I wanted to talk to you about Mediterranean diet today. I come from Mediterranean region. I lived there before I moved to North America, and I also visited many countries that belong to Mediterranean region, from Italy to Greece, Turkey, Tunisia, Cyprus, and some other countries. And I really saw firsthand and was immersed in that culture. And I wanted to share that with you and also tell you the differences between different regions and the common threads and what makes the Mediterranean diet so good and how you can use that for your benefit to lose weight. Mediterranean diet has been voted number one diet this year again in 2023 as the best diet. So it's really, in my opinion, it's not considered a diet that you are on that for a limited period of time and you lose weight and then you go back to your old eating habits. It's more of a culture, of a lifestyle, and it's something anyone can do for good because it's very sustainable. On Mediterranean diet, you really don't feel deprived. You can eat many different things, many different foods, and you will just not feel like you have to take this out of your diet and that kind of food out of your diet. So there are a lot of different options, and you're really not as limited and you don't feel deprived. When you mention Mediterranean food, many think of Italy and how they eat a lot of pasta and a lot of, ciabatta breads and pizzas. But that's really not the case. They eat pizza maybe once a week, but for the most part, they eat lots of vegetables, cooked vegetables or salads, and some kind of protein meat, mainly fish or some other poultry meat. Other regions in Mediterranean have very different foods. So, for example, if you look at Croatia or Montenegro, they are very heavy on seafood. Of course, they have that beautiful coast, beautiful sea, and they get that fresh fish that's caught and cooked right there. It's incredible. And their starch of choice is usually potato. So they are heavy on seafood and maybe some potato. For example, if they have the fish with olive oil, garlic, seasoned with maybe some dill and parsley, and then side of potato salad with some onions and some vinegar, very, very, very delicious. So that region is pretty much eating seafood for the most part. Then when you go to like Turkey and Greece, you have more of meat like lamb and not so much beef, but maybe pork. Beef is maybe more in the Middle East. When you move into even Iran or Jordan, you have more rice as their starch, but then you have beef, you have some of the lamb, and so not so much seafood, also not so much potatoes or pasta at all, but more meats like beef and lamb, like we all know, lamb chops, different souvlaki's, kebabs, those types of things. Also, side of vegetables is side of tomatoes, grilled meats, stews are very predominant. So everything is pretty much cooked at home and prepared at home. So when you look at it from these different regions, how their foods differ from one country to another country, but at the same time, when you look at the common thread between all these countries and all their cultures and foods that they enjoy, is that they all pretty much have the same fresh foods that are in season, that are bought at markets. For example, where I grew up, we used to shop. We used to shop at grocery stores, but really, there would be instances where we would go to farmers markets very often, and those were open air farmers markets, and you would get fresh eggs from people who would actually grow chickens in their yard and make cheese at their homes, and different cream cheese and things like that they would bring to these farmers markets every morning, early in the morning, and you would go get fresh eggs, fresh cheese, fresh fruit like watermelons and other things that they would bring to these farmers markets. So you would buy foods that are in season. You wouldn't buy anything that was boxed. That's just part of the culture. So that probably makes it easier that they choose, just it's their culture to eat and live in a healthier way. So another common thread, so besides the fresh foods, foods in season, also none of the foods is processed. So if you want to implement that here in North America and you want to say, okay, I can't go to farmers markets every day and there are no such things pretty much, people bringing foods from their gardens, it's not so easily accessible to everyone. So what can you do when you go to a grocery store? Pretty much shop at the perimeter of the store. You know how we have the vegetables and fruits and meat, seafood, dairy, and just avoid anything that's in the middle of the store. So any of those boxed cakes, boxed cookies, boxed dinners, just basically try to avoid that. That's the closest to what Mediterranean food is based on. So of course I can't not mention lots of beans, lots of nuts, lots of fruits, also dry fruits. People eat a lot of citrus fruits and grow citrus fruits there. Also, in many cultures, you would start eating with a bowl of soup. It would be a very brothy soup, maybe like a chicken noodle soup, just as a appetizer, pretty much, and then you would get into your meal after that. So it's several course meal. That's one main meal a day, and then you would have very light or even no breakfast, and then some light dinner. So lunch is in most cases the biggest meal of the day. Also, they walk a lot. They don't depend on their cars. They don't spend so much time in their cars. So that's another benefit. Unfortunately, we here, for example, in North America, have to drive everywhere. So we have to really think about our exercise, and that really changed my life so much because when I moved to North America, I really had to adjust my way of living because I started eating different kinds of foods. I ate things that are easily available and also heavily processed foods. And so, for example, I would eat some box lunches, frozen meals, some very sugary foods because lots of things are much, much sweeter here. And so overdoing sugar was just very easy. So also, I didn't really move a lot. I didn't walk a lot. So I had to really think about what I was doing wrong. So once I started implementing my old habits, everything kind of went back to my old self. But it took a while for me to figure out what was going on, which I talk about in my other videos, all my trials and errors. And so if you want to check that out, you can find it on my channel. So in my opinion, really, Italy is the country with the most different type of diet, and it's considered Mediterranean diet from the rest of the Mediterranean region, just because it has that pasta and pizzas, and that's just a very unique type of Mediterranean food. But everywhere else, you have vegetables, you have fruits, you have seafood, and some starch. So just because they are famous for pasta and pizza doesn't mean that other areas don't have the starches. They do. It's either couscous or rice or breads or potatoes. So all the regions have some form of starch. And then, like I said, the rest of it is really the meats, the seafoods, and wonderful fruits and vegetables and foods that are in season, nuts, legumes, especially beans and lentils. They're very prevalent in Southern Europe, and then going into the more of the South Mediterranean and the Middle East, like Greece and then Turkey and then some other, then like I said, Iran or Jordan, those countries, they are also very big on legumes like lentils. Some other regions, they cook more with beans. There is this famous white bean soup. That's pretty much just olive oil, white beans, and a base of some sauteed onions. I have a lot of recipes on my channel, and I also wrote a book that's called Fit Forever, and I include many recipes that I came upon during my life back in Europe and also here in North America. So I have a vast selection of these recipes. And to sum it up, really, I want to say that Mediterranean diet is delicious. You feel like you're not deprived. It's just a type of diet that's full of vitamins and antioxidants, and you really eat the rainbow. You know, they say eat the rainbow when you actually have to think about your health and think about losing weight and your diet. So it has all those benefits. It only requires you to maybe think a little bit ahead, to cook at home, and that all can be achieved. It doesn't have to be complicated. I wish you all a successful weight loss journey, and give Mediterranean diet a try. See what it takes to live healthily like Greeks or Italians or Croatians. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.